You guys just finished reading the Valiant Little Tailor for the second time. Yesterday we read it together. Today you read it by yourself. Now we're going to go through some skills. Okay, we're going to talk about the character traits. We're going to talk about some of the vocabulary words, and we're going to talk about the summary.
Did we do
okay?
this yesterday, but with a different kind of
Mm-hmm. We did this story yesterday, but we talked about the theme yesterday.
I thought we did it with the
Earlier in the week, you mean?
he's talking about
Sugar maple and woodpecker?
Yeah.
Yes, we did do this. Not yesterday, but we did this with sugar maple and woodpecker earlier in the week. Yeah. Okay, so now we need to identify, in order to figure out the character traits in this text, we need to identify our characters. Who are the characters that are in this text, the Valiant Little Tailor? Who is one of our characters, Macklin?
the Tailor.
Okay, the Tailor. Everyone needs to write this on their paper. Who's the other character, Annex?
The Giant.
The Giant. So skip a line or two and then write the Giant. Okay, so when I ask you for a character trait, I'm asking you to do what? Describe them. Okay, so write one word that would describe the Tailor and one word that would describe the Giant. What is one of their traits? Now, if you know more than one, you can write more than one. But I want at least one trait. What's one word to describe each of them? Okay, so write it out beside. And I'll come around. I'm going to give you a few minutes and I'll come around and look at them. How would you describe each of those characters? One. Get busy.
Is telling me how I look, is that a trait or
Is what?
Just like telling them how they look, is that a trait or is that more like the
No, a trait is more like the inside of a person. Their personality.
Can I go back in the store?
Yes, you should absolutely go back in the story if you need to. Who did this? Did the Giant do all the chicken? Who did that?
Tailor?
Okay. You think he's kind? He said he's ragamuffin, miserable creature. How would you describe him? Okay. All right, so most of us did really well with this. Remember, a trait, most of the time, a trait is not going to be the way that they look. So if you said tiny or tall or big, that's the way they look. That doesn't describe the type of person they are. Okay, so it's not going to be a character trait. What is a word that would describe the type of person that they are? What kind of person? How would you describe their heart? Like the type of person they are. What do you put for the Tailor? Let's talk about the Tailor first. What's the word you put for the Tailor, Cadence? Smart. Okay. What else did you put for the Tailor? Cody? Tricky.
Did we write these on ours?
You can add them. Jose?
Instead of smart, I'll put clever.
Clever. Patrice?
Really good sewing.
Okay.
Talented. Yeah, talented.
Let's say that.
But the giant's kind of talented. That's what I put for the giant.
Talented at sewing. And it's
I think funny.
funny. Okay, yeah, some of the things he did were kind of funny. Layla?
Proud because he did the flies.
Okay, he was very proud of himself. He was a little overconfident, wasn't he? Henry?
Okay.
Okay.
He was overreactive.
Overactive.
Overreactive.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Overreacting?
He was like, oh my gosh, I killed 7 flies. And anybody could kill 7 flies. And I was going to say bold.
Bold, yes, that's a good one. Okay, so all of it, yes, Marissa? Sly, yeah, he's a little sneaky thing, isn't he? Okay, so he's trickery. He's tricky. He's smart. He's clever. He kept tricking the giant, right? That is the Tailor. Now, how would you describe the giant? What are some traits for the giant? Cash?
My foot can be tricked easily.
Okay,
Not
so
smart.
tricked easily.
Naive.
We're gonna say not as smart. Henry?
He was cocky.
Yes, cocky. He was a little too confident in himself also, huh? He thought he was stronger than maybe he really was. Cadence? He was strong, yeah. What about, there's something that we're missing about him. Think about the way he treated the Tailor at first.
Oh, yeah.
What would you say he is? Cody?
Probably like a bully.
Okay, kind of like a bully. What would be another word, Annex? Mean. Rude.
Ruthless.
Ruthless. Hey, we could keep on going with that.
I'm
Necklace?
selfish. It's not like about like the word, but he's like gullible.
Gullible. Okay. Yeah. That's very true. We do kind of already have that one say he's tricked easily. Those are very similar, but that is very true.
Naive.
And a fourth grade word.
It is a good 4th grade word, yeah. Okay, so the character traits. We have both of our characters, and we've got traits for both of them.
Yep.
Okay, when they ask you for a character trait, they're asking you to do what?
Just describe them.
Describe them. Okay, so 1, when you see this word on a test, what are they asking you to do?
Describe what they're how they are.
How they are. What kind of person are they? If it says describe the character, then these are the types of things you need to be thinking about. What kind of person, Jose, inside, what is their heart like? Do they treat others kindly? Not so much are they tall or are they tiny. Now, if they ask you what they look like, then yes, of course, answer that. But when they ask you to describe them, they're not really talking about looks so much. They're talking more about what they're like inside.
The
Okay?
things you can't see.
Right, yes. All right, so let's move on to our second skill of the day. Miss Amy, we have a test tomorrow. So we're getting prepared for it.
It's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
I love tests.
These are a review of all the skills we've done this week. All right, it is, yeah. Okay, the next thing we're going to work on is vocabulary. So go down on your paper. Yesterday we talked about some of the vocabulary words. We looked around that word. We read the sentence before it and the sentence after it, and we made an inference about what that word meant. You're going to do that on your own today, and we're going to see how we're doing with it.
Good.
Okay? This is your first word. Write it down. Don't do anything else. Just write it down, and then I'm going to give you your instructions. Okay, this word is embroidered. What's the word?
Embroidered.
Okay, it is in paragraph 2. So you are going to go to paragraph 2, right here at the bottom. Everybody circle that word embroidered. If you already have a highlighter out. If you don't, I don't want to waste time getting it out. Okay, circle the word embroidered. You need to read the sentence before it and the sentence after it. Read all around it, and then I want you to write one sentence telling me what that word means. What do you think the word embroidered means? Write it on your paper. I'm coming to look. Right, what do you think it means on your notebook paper? Okay, so add that to it because that's the most important part. So you know he wrote that, right? Did he do it with a marker? So how did he do it? Okay, I'm really good with this. Okay, how do you write it? Did he write it with a marker? Okay, did you go back? Did you not have that? How did he write it? What did he use to write it? And use the picture to help you too. What does it look like? How did he write it? You still working on it? Okay, it says he embroidered on it in large letters 7 at 1 stroke. So if he embroidered 7 at 1 stroke, what did he do? Here's another word for that. How did he write it? With a marker?
Stitches.
Okay, that's what you need to write. Alright, let's talk about this. Where's my pen? Okay, everybody needs to be looking at paragraph 2. Right there? Okay, you cannot figure out what a word means without going back to the text. You have to be on that page, that paragraph, reading the context clues around it. Okay, there are going to be some words that you already know. You're taking case, you're taking 10 ready, and you may see a word. They may say, what does this word mean in paragraph 2? And you may know that word. And you may think, I already know what it means. But in that story, it may mean something else. Some words have more than one meaning. This is not one of those words. But the next word we're going to do is one that can mean a couple different things. If you don't go back to the text and you just go based off of what you've heard Mama say before, it could be wrong. Take that time. Don't rush through it, okay? So when I read this one, everybody with me? It says, and so the little tailor, so right there's a clue. We know the tailor does what? What did we say a tailor is yesterday? Oh. What is a tailor? Layla?
A tailor fixes stuff by sewing.
Okay, fixes things by sewing. So we already know from the very beginning that he's someone that likes to sew, right? That's a clue. Let's keep going. Ready, Annex? And so the little tailor hastened to cut himself a belt and
Stitches.
okay, that's another clue. Everybody underline that. What is he doing?
He's stitching something.
Stitching. What does stitching mean?
Like sewing.
Sewing. Okay, so he's got a belt and he's sewing on it. Finally, he embroidered. That's what we're trying to figure out. What does that mean? He embroidered on it in large letters, 7 at 1 stroke. So many of you, I saw on your paper that you put right. That he wrote that on the belt, right? Okay, there are, if you look at the picture, there is a belt and you do see the words, right? Okay, so he is writing words on the belt. But when you look at them, one, we know he likes to sew. 2, it says that he stitched it. And that they're large letters. So if he's embroidered it, what does that really mean? He didn't write on it with a marker. He wrote on it by what?
Stitching.
And it's,
He sewed on the belt.
yes, he sewed the words on the belt. And it, Henry, sorry.
Can I just say what I did on this? Alright. Embroidered means to permanently sew on words or like how the sun shines on the carpet. You can do that with like fingers. That's what it's.
An embroidery.
Oh.
Yeah.
I got
it means,
it. I don't know about the world.
It means to permanently sew on words to a piece of clothing.
Yes, you're permanently sewing the words on. So he did write these letters on there, but he didn't write them with a marker. He wrote the words by
Stitching them.
sewing, by stitching, or by embroidering. Okay, so it's really writing using what? Stitches or stitching is.
Yeah, I got it right.
Okay.
It's kind of hard.
You need something similar to that on your paper. A lot of you have that written in some other words, and that's fine. Your words don't have to be the same as mine, as long as you've got something similar to that. Okay? Everybody good there? All right, let's move on. Okay, your next word. What's my paper? Okay, this is one that has a couple different meanings. So you're going to have to really go back and read that what? Paragraph. Okay? This is your word. Write it down first. Okay, your word is resolved. What is it?
Resolved.
And it's in paragraph 3. Resolved. Write that on your paper. Very quickly. Okay, this is the word resolved. Read around it and write what you think it means on your paper, please. Alright, what word are you looking for? Alright, circle it. And then start at the very beginning of that paragraph. Read it to me. Taylor. One. He's so proud that he's so white. 7 flies, right? He's pretty proud of it. And if you even put it on a belt, 7 at 1 stroke. 7 flies at 1 time. He's so proud of himself. He wants to go tell the world. It was his heart wide with joy like a lamb. So he put on the belt, so he put this belt on, and resolved to go forth into the world. So what does that mean if he resolved? What would be another word that you could put there? Okay, so he put on the belt and went to go forth. What do you have to do? Before you go somewhere, you have to do it. Okay. You're on the right track. What's your think on it? I'm going to come back and see if it's right. Okay, not quite show. Before you go, you have to do what? What do you have to do before you actually go?
Here we go.
Already read.
Okay, we're going to go through. To go forth. He's got the shot just off his belt. So if he's resolved, he's got my belt and he says, I resolve to go forward. It's a little more than thinking.
Before he could go, he's already done that. He put the belt on and blank to go forth in the light.
He's going to think about traveling. Should I stay in this living shop with my big bravery, or should I go? What's the word for it? He's got
How do you spell position?
So he puts on his belt and he is going to go forth. He thought his workshop is too small. It is valid. This shop is too small for me. So he's going to. Should I stay or should I go?
Forced himself, but
Okay, that's
kind of like
okay.
a
So he's forcing himself to do what? He had a choice to make, right? And so if he's forcing himself to go, then he made a
deal. Bet.
no. You're on the right track. Cody, you're so close. If you've got a choice to make and he decides to actually go, then he made a
Decision.
All right, everybody look up here.
Is it the
This one is a little bit tricky for you guys. This one seemed to be a little more complicated. Remember, you need to use all the clues around the word that they've given you, but also think about your real life. Think about what you know, okay, in your head. What happens when you get ready to go on a trip, okay? Let's read it together. We're going to look at the clues, and then we'll talk about it. Everybody with me, Jose? It says, the brave little Tailor wanted to tell the world about his bravery. Everybody circle the word wanted. He wants to do what?
Tell the world about his bravery.
Tell the world. Just because you want to do something, does that mean you actually do it?
No.
No. There's a big difference between wanting to do something and actually doing it, right? So right now, he just wants to. You ready, Jose? His heart wide with joy like a lamb's tail. So he put on belt. Everybody underline that. He actually has what?
Put it on.
Put it on. So he's gone from wanting to doing something to actually
Doing
it. Okay? He put on the belt and resolved to go forth. So if he's going forth, he is actually going. Okay? If I want to do something and then I actually did it, I have to do what in order to get to that point? What do you have to do? If you want to do something and then you actually have to do what in order to get it done? One,
You have to make a decision.
you have to make a decision. You have to go from just wanting it to make the decision that, oh, I'm actually going to do it. I'm actually going to go for it. So resolve means to make a decision. You could have said to decide. You could have said to make a choice. To make a choice to do it. Okay, any of those words would have been a good word for resolved. Now I saw some of our friends that put solve. Okay, and if you put solve, that's because you're using that word. We talk about solution in here a lot, right? Problem and solution. And solving something is a solution. But is that in the rest of the text? Well, that's the third time in like 10 minutes I've had to say your name. Jose, you ready? Is there really any, if it was to be solved, that means there would have to be a what around that place? A problem. Are there any problems here?
No.
So can that word mean to solve something?
No.
No. If there's no problem, then there's nothing to solve. So you need to use all the clues around that word. Okay? Any questions about this one? Miss Amy, anything to add? Okay. All right. Third vocabulary word, and then we're moving on to summary. Everybody ready for the last one? Okay, your last word is liberty. What's your word?
Liberty.
And it's in the last paragraph. And liberty is one of those words that has a couple different meanings. So you need to see, like, what is the meaning of it here? In the very last paragraph.
He's been riding in his pocket, and the Tailor pulls it out and so how does the bird feel? He feels like he's finally got
Delighted. Delighted means that it's you're delighted with something when you are happy. So the bird's feeling happy with its liberty. It rose and flew away. So what did the bird all of a sudden do again? Get out of their pocket. Flew. Okay, but what does the bird have now? I see that.
You're working up for that?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's feeling like he's ready. You're on the right track.
Yes, I agree.
If you're in my pocket, you're kind of what? Squished, stuck, right?
Did you read
And
this?
if I say, yeah, what do you have? What do you have now?
You took up the bird.
Okay, you're on the right track. Keep on thinking about that. What's another word you can use there?
Right after you leave and it's like time for lesson, can I go and the class thing to get a book? Because I'm about 100 pages into my book, and It's not like the one maybe like
Do you know what that means, or do you need some help? You need help? Okay. So it says, and he put his hand into his pocket and took out the bird. So where did the bird go? In his pocket. And threw it into the air. So if I take a bird out of my pocket and I throw it in the air, think about that, okay? The bird delighted. So how's the bird feeling? Great. With its liberty. So what does the bird have now? I took it out of my pocket and I threw it up. He now has what? Okay, so he's happy because he has. There you go. All right, let's talk about this word. A lot of you got this one. I think this one was easy. Well, I don't know that it was necessarily easy, but they had more what?
like details.
More details, some more clues. Okay, let's. All right, the very last paragraph. So right there. It says, and he put his hand into his pocket, took the bird, and threw it into the air. Okay, so if I have a bird in my pocket, and it's, what do you say that bird is? Squished. It's squished in my pocket, right?
Yeah.
And he takes the bird out and throws it into the air. So he's squished, and then he takes him out and he throws him up. Okay, so think about going from being all squished to now you've got all this air. Okay, it says the bird delighted. Delighted means he's feeling what? Happy. Okay, so he's happy. So think about that too. When you go up here, you're happy because you were squished and now you have all this space. He was happy with its liberty. So with its what? What does we have up here now? Cadence? Freedom. He's got some freedom. Okay, class.
Yes.
That's not the end of your clues. If you were taking a test, you would need to keep on reading. Freedom is correct, but read the rest of that. Don't stop there because there might be more clues to check that answer. Okay? If it rose and flew away, could it fly away in my pocket?
No.
No. If it has the choice to go away, it now gets to decide on its own to go away. It has what? Freedom, yeah. And not come back. So it's not controlled by him anymore in its pocket. It now has more freedom. Both of those are extra clues that you would miss if you quit reading. Okay? You've got to finish the sentence that you're on. And if it was me, I would just go ahead and finish that paragraph. How does that shot please you, comrade? Asked the tailor. Now, there are not really any more clues in there, but just go ahead and read the rest of it so that you don't miss any. Okay?
To make sure if there's more.
Right. Any questions about that? Miss Amy, anything to add? Henry?
It's not a question, but this, like when I wrote, it's like how it has freedom and it's free. I saw this YouTube video, and it was this dude. He did it like he had like a lot of space, and he shot and he kicked a soccer ball into a goal from like the entire soccer field. And he said that ball is a beautiful butterfly flying free.
Okay, yeah, flying free. Okay, summary. I need everybody to write this on their paper. The last thing we're talking about this text is a summary. Okay, and you may have to flip it over on the back. That's fine. Okay, remember a summary is when you tell someone about what?
The beginning, the middle, and the end.
The beginning, the middle, and the end. You tell them about the
whole story.
Whole story. You want to tell them about the whole story, but without what?
The details.
All the details. You want just the main events, just the big events, the main things that happen. Okay, so you're telling them about the beginning, you're telling them about the middle, and you're telling them about the end, but only the big event. So think about what was the most important thing that happened at the very beginning. What's the most important thing that happened in the middle? And the most important thing that happened at the end. Remember, for the beginning, you could have 1 to 2 sentences. For the middle, you can have 1 to 2 sentences. For the end, you can have 1 to 2 sentences. Do you need 5 sentences just for the beginning?
No.
No, that means you're adding too many
Details.
details. Think about just the main events. What was the most important thing that happened at the beginning? What's the most important thing that happened in the middle? And next, the most important thing that happened at the end. I want you to write your summary. I'm going to give you time to think about that. So it may take us a little bit, maybe about 10 minutes or so. That's what's at my class. And then I'm going to come around and check them. And I'm going to read a few of them to our class. Okay? So you're writing about the beginning, the middle, and the end. We're going to take a bathroom break while you're working on it. So you write your summary. If I call you to go to the restroom, you go quickly, you come back, and you finish writing your summary. If you get finished, then you check it and read your AR book while you wait on me to come around and check them. Everybody know what they're doing? All right, go ahead and get started.
Is it okay if I write